They might not be related by blood, but Hopper and Eleven have a father-daughter relationship if we've ever seen one. With the way things left off in Season 2, it's obvious that Hopper is going to have a lot of work on his hands. Watch until the end to find out if Hopper and Eleven's relationship will survive, what the Upside Down has in store for them. First time at the things, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more amazing content to come your way. And if you like Stranger Things as much as we do, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Now let's find out what Hopper and Eleven have been up to since we last saw them. A happy home. All Eleven ever wanted was to be accepted for who she really was, and while she might have believed that Dr. Brenner loved her more than he did his practice, she was wrong. After escaping from the Hawkins laboratory, she found herself amidst a solid friend group, one that didn't want to exploit her for her kinetic powers. Unfortunately for her, Dr. Brenner was nowhere near close to letting her go, which caused a series of unfortunate events to spring forward. For unknown reasons, Hopper saw something in Eleven that caused him to become protective over her. Their connection was so strong that he eventually became her guardian and risked his life to save hers on more than one account. At the end of Season 2, we clearly see Dr. Owens handing Hopper an envelope, and most of us were surprised to see that the envelope contained a forged birth certificate claiming that Hopper was Eleven's biological father.
Congratulations, Pops.
So with this in mind, we're convinced that Season 3 will grant Eleven her first real home experience. This theory places Hopper and Eleven in a happy home, one where Hopper raises her as though she was his very own child. According to the birth certificate, Eleven's name will be changed to Jane Hopper. However, Dr. Owens stressed the importance of keeping a low profile for about a year. So with this in mind, we don't foresee Eleven attending Hawkins Middle School anytime soon. Laying low. Most of us felt sorry for Eleven's dodgy lifestyle in Season 2. Despite having defeated most of her enemies, the poor girl was still on the run, which led her to live in Hopper's grandfather's shack for about a year. While under Hopper's roof, Eleven had a set of simple rules to follow, most of which she chose to break. Eleven was encouraged to keep the curtains drawn, cut all contact with the outside world, and refrain from opening the door to strangers.
Now you take that off, sit down and eat. Your food's getting cold.
Despite being safe and sound, the solitude got to Eleven quicker than Hopper had expected, causing their relationship to take a hit. While it's been stated that Eleven will become Hopper's natural daughter in Season 3, Dr. Owens did stress the importance of keeping a low profile. So knowing this, we're afraid that Eleven will have to go back to the shack for another year. While she may have been instructed to lay low, there's no controlling the gifted preteen. However, from the looks of things, Hopper has no intention of keeping her from her friends. Despite having to lay low for another little while, Hopper and Eleven seem to be more than happy with the news. We're hoping that Eleven, or should we say Jane, will be able to rekindle her friendship with Mike, Will, Lucas, and Dustin, while keeping a low profile at the same time. The lost sister. Eleven might have been the most powerful child to step foot in the Hawkins lab, but she wasn't the only one. In Season 2, Eleven discovers while tapping into her mother's mind that there was a girl named Collie with her in the Hawkins lab. Wanting to make a familial connection, she locates her and leaves for Chicago at first light.
Are you real?
Yes, I'm real.
After rekindling their relationship and swapping sob stories, Collie welcomes Eleven into her gang of degenerates, where she is later forced to unleash her powers on those who experimented on her as a child. Despite wanting to fit in with the gang, Eleven realizes that she doesn't have enough hate in her heart to kill. Later on, while getting ambushed by police officers, Eleven gets a vision that places Mike and Hopper in imminent danger. So she ditches her sister and heads back to Hawkins. We suspect that Collie will come back for Eleven in Season 3, but we don't know if it'll be for help or vengeance. No matter what happens, we'd love to see Hopper become a father of two powerful girls. Do you think that Hopper would agree to let Collie live underneath his roof, or will he smell her intentions from a mile away? The talk. As Eleven's new guardian, Hopper is required to raise her as he would his own daughter. So with this in mind, we're curious to see this character step into the shoes of fatherhood. It's no secret that Mike and Eleven have a future romantic relationship. Sure, they might be young, but their characters will be 15 years old during Season 3 of Stranger Things.
Do you want to dance? I don't know how.
Knowing this, it's a given that Hopper will have to give 11 the talk, and we're curious to see this awkward fatherly figure spill the tea. We predict that Mike and 11's relationship will evolve to the next level, which will undoubtedly make Hopper a little nervous. Can you imagine Hopper trying to sit 11 down to warn her about what boys really want? Because we sure can't. Season 3 might showcase a great number of father-daughter moments, some of which we might not be prepared for. Despite their young age, the kids in Stranger Things are growing up before our eyes, and so are their characters. We don't know about you, but we're already cringing at the thought of Hopper trying to parent. Love triangles. If there's one thing that makes a good show, it's a love triangle. And while they're super entertaining to watch on screen, they aren't amusing to live out in real life. Jonathan, Steve, and Nancy have been involved in a love triangle for far too long, which is why we expect a new one to be formed by entirely new people. While it's been confirmed that Max and Lucas will engage in a middle school romance, a lot of fans got the impression that Max actually had a crush on Mike. In fact, 11 herself believed this to be true when she caused Max's skateboard to send her to the floor. With this in mind, we think that a love triangle between Max, Mike, and 11 will ensue. Speaking of love, we also think that Joyce and Hopper will finally come clean about their feelings for one another, or at least we hope they will. After losing Bob to the Demogorgon, Joyce will surely be at a loss. But luckily, Season 3 is said to take place 1 year after the events of Season 2, so this might be more than enough time for Joyce to get over her ex-boyfriend. From what we gather, it looks like Hopper and 11 will have their hands full with relationships. If you love a good tearjerker, watch until the end to find out which fan theory separates Hopper from his daughter once again. Hawkins Middle School. Hawkins Middle School is a feasting ground for the Mind Flayer, which is why we believe that Season 3 will showcase the learning facility once more. The Mind Flayer attempted to take over Will's body in Season 2, however, it was expelled with the use of heat. While it may look as though this evil force was defeated, we believe that it simply retreated with the hope of finding a brand new host. So who better to possess than the one and only 11? While this theory could very well come true, we hope that it won't. This is because it might put Hopper in a tight situation. Since 11 is one of the most powerful beings on the planet, the world would suffer under her wrath. So let's just hope that the Mind Flayer has his eyes set on someone else. 11 is the only person powerful enough to close the gates to the Upside Down, so we truly need her on our side. Whatever happens, you best be sure that it's going to unfold at the Hawkins Middle School. And since 11 will soon be attending this school, it puts her directly at risk of being used as a host. They always come back. If there's one character we all mutually hate, it's Dr. Brenner, aka Papa. This evil scientist kidnapped and tortured many children throughout his professional career. Worst of all, he convinced 11 that he was her birth father to get her to carry out unforgivable tasks. A Demogorgon mauled Dr. Brenner at the end of Season 1. However, many of us still believe him to be alive. After all, his body was never showcased. So, what happened to Dr. Brenner, and when will he come back? We suspect that he was experimented on and brought back to life with some powers of his own. During his absence, Dr. Owens was given control of the lab, but evidently switched sides by the end of Season 2. This leaves the Hawkins laboratory without leadership, which basically butters up the position for dear old Papa. With this in mind, we suspect that he'll come back for his makeshift daughter, but this time he'll have powers of his own that'll allow him to overpower and kidnap 11. Do you think that Dr. Brenner will worm his way back into Season 3? Because we're convinced that he will. The test subject takeover. We love Hopper, which is why we think that he'll make an excellent father for 11. However, we also believe that Hopper will have more children than he can count by the end of the season. As many of you know, handfuls of children were kidnapped and experimented on at the Hawkins lab. While 11 managed to make contact with 8, there's still a string of other mutant children running around. If Dr. Brenner does in fact come back in power, he'll do his best to locate every single one of his test subjects, which will send them looking for a safe haven. We suspect that children, preteens, and teenagers alike will show up at Hopper's door and beg for sanctuary. And although he'll be reluctant at first, Hopper will do his best to serve and protect. Having a house full of children with numbers for names won't be an easy thing to master, but with the help of his friends, Hopper will prevail. Despite being an only child, 11 will feel as though she's surrounded by her kin, which will surely bring a smile to Hopper's sullen face. Operation Tarry. Finding out that your long-lost mother is mentally incapacitated is definitely a letdown, especially when you had a string of questions to ask her. When 11 reunites with her mother, Tarry Ives, she's surprised to find out that she's stuck in some sort of loop.
Jane.
Fans believe that Season 3 will be tailored around 11 trying to rescue her mother's mind. But where will she start? Could it be that Tarry's mind is stuck in the Upside Down, causing her soul to be stuck in two places at once? While venturing through the Upside Down, 11 saw her mother and was able to communicate with her telepathically. Their banter caused Tarry's nose to bleed, proving that they had a lot in common. Despite wanting to save her mother's mind, there might come a time when 11 has a hard decision to make: save her mother or destroy the Upside Down and everything in it. All in all, we're certain that Season 3 will be filled with heart-wrenching moments. We just hope that Hopper won't do anything stupid to reunite 11 with the mother she always dreamed of. History repeats itself. By now, we all know that Hopper had to experience something a parent should never have to go through: the loss of their child. Although it may have broken him for some time, he was brought back to life with a new purpose. While we believe that Sarah Hopper passed away due to cancer, her actual medical condition was never stated. So some fans think that the Hawkins laboratory actually victimized Sarah, and that her death might have been the result of unruly experiments on her person. If this is true, it might be possible that 11 will succumb to the same fate, but we're hoping that she'll be able to fight off whatever comes her way. In the end, Hopper already lost one daughter, so we hope that he doesn't have to go through losing another one. On another note, some suspect that Dr. Brenner will infect 11 with a virus, which will force Hopper to bring her to the Hawkins laboratory for treatment. However, bringing her here will surely be comparable to striking a deal with the devil. So, which one of these theories sounds more plausible to you? Make sure to let us know in the comments. And that's it for our video. Thanks for watching, and see you next time on The Things.